1. And we're back.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh, shit, Kerry.
Yes.
Did you see the new Discovery?
Yes.
Oh,
It's Mirror Universe.
it's not.
It's not Mirror Universe?
It is a mirror universe. It's not the same one.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is
Yeah,
the mirror
all right.
universe, the Discovery's universe, but it is not the same mirror
I'm
universe.
wearing my Mirrorverse shirt today.
Nice. So the Discovery mirror universe has a different Terran Empire symbol. It's slightly different.
I saw it was different, but I thought maybe they just decided to change logos.
No, because the Terran
you know.
Universe symbol from Enterprise is almost the same as the Terran Universe symbol from the original series. So
okay.
I think they're going to be doing some shit.
I wasn't putting that much
exciting.
thought into it.
I'm going to keep it
I gotta
cryptic.
catch up on
Is it
that
going to be like a
show.
lost ship sort of deal?
Well, considering they've been fucking with some weird shit, like okay, somehow they're not doing warp travel so much as they're doing mushroom spore travel.
Spore Drive.
Drive.
Spore Drive.
Yeah, so they're and 6 foot tall water bears.
We
all
got
kinds
too
of other shit.
nerdy for our own nerds.
Yeah.
Let's kick it back.
No, it's great. It's great shit.
Before we get to the pile of news that I have here, our old friend Punk.
Yeah.
He
Punky
wants,
buddy.
He wants your pictures. If you took a picture with him at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I did.
Because he says at the last Comic-Con I took pictures with Jay.
I got
and
him on my
Shannon
phone
took
right
some
now.
pictures with me.
I can't find them.
I got him on my phone right now. Hold up.
Send them to him if you would.
Hold up, cuz.
He's got a Facebook page, David Olson. So
Yeah.
if anybody listening took a picture with him, send it to him.
I got you, fam.
Another example of an amazing human being who
Yes.
has been deelt the shittiest hand of
Yup.
cards
Yep.
ever.
I just feel
And
bad.
still
that,
kicking.
that
And
he was
still,
my,
it's still awesome.
I just feel bad that he was my self-appointed rival for like 10 years. Now I feel bad because he's like one of the greatest people I've ever known.
All right, geek news. Here we go. This will end with a bad news story,
Ugh.
but a prediction that I made, and I'm feeling pretty goddamn smart.
About Stan Lee's philandering.
Well, I could get to that if you
Okay.
like, but
Please don't. My heart is breaking.
yeah, me
Well,
too.
it's Stan. I mean, come on.
I already
We
knew
kind of
about
expected him to be a shitty dirtbag.
I too would be grabbing nurses' asses in a nursing home. I'm sorry, everyone. I
you
don't
were
mean to
not-
disappoint you in advance. I
I-
want to make this confession while I'm 29, so that none of you are surprised when I'm
I
a 70-year-old lady grabbing the asses of my cute
I
nurses.
guarantee a 95-year-old Kari is going to be a nurse ass grabber.
I will, and
Yeah.
because I'm an ass man. I like the ladies with the booties. So
Listen, they came to me and they
that's why I
said,
love you.
they said, Stan, how about if we get you some male nurses? And you know what I said? Fuck you, because
Stan.
I'm Stan fucking Lee. That's who I am.
He grabbed me on his way in. Can you believe that?
I just love that Stan based Galactus off of his love of ass.
Oh, I know.
Wait,
Can you believe that?
what?
No, seriously, because
No,
Stan Lee's
Oh,
Shut
no,
up.
he's going again.
Stan Lee.
Fucking with me.
I think he's fucking
Stan
with
Lee's the devourer. Because
He is fucking with us.
Galactus is the devourer of worlds, right? Well,
Right.
Stan in the '60s was the
Shut
devourer of asses.
Excelsior.
Right.
Wait,
Excelsior.
Stan Lee looked like he would devour
and
some
don't even
ass.
get me started on
he
what
would
Stan
like
Lee
groceries.
Eat ass.
Don't even get me started on the herald he would send to probe those asses first.
You're fucking with
So
me.
that's like his wingman.
Oh, he had something he called his Silver Surfer.
This is
my god.
good
I'm putting
fucking
in.
God.
I'm putting in my notes. Galactus Secret Origins.
But then the best part is,
Top secret.
the best part is in the '70s when Stan was getting all kinds of ass. He was like, "Well, the Silver Surfer is actually broken now, so I'm going to upgrade to something kind of hotter." And he had this chick called Nova to come in and probe those asses
Right.
for him first.
Oh wow, this all makes
You're
the pieces
fucking
fall
with
into
me.
place.
Jay, I am not fucking with you.
This
This
is-
is
Say
God's honest
sriracha.
truth. What?
Say sriracha.
Sri Racha. I'm telling you, God is my witness. That big old fucking fairy tale creature doesn't exist.
Whoa!
Stan was the eater of worlds and asses.
Eater of worlds and asses.
Of the world's asses.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Stan was like, just park that big old booty right here,
Toss
baby.
him
Hey, you
salad
guys,
like his
hey.
name Romaine.
Oh my God.
You guys, let's let
Yeah.
Kerry do a show.
I mean, seriously, they called him Caesar
like
because he
dying
tossed
over
salad
there.
so well.
You wonder why I never shaved my mustache. Okay.
They called him the Roman
I
tickler.
felt it. I felt it on. Oh man.
Your perineum.
Yeah. Thank you for using the right term.
So they're moving some things around
Oh, I read this.
with these X-Men movies.
Even called Joan the Watcher.
boy. So Deadpool fans happy because they pushed the movie up 2 weeks from
Yep.
June 1st to May 18th. It puts it competing directly against the Slender Man movie.
Oh, that's going to
geez,
be
that's-
stiff
So
competition.
is Fox
Boy.
trying to get all their movies out before the Marvel agreement
Yeah.
kicks in?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
It will open. It has it opening 1 week before the Han Solo movie.
Oh boy.
So we get Deadpool, then the Han Solo. movie.
Get the fuck out. What
We live in a world.
I know.
We own this world.
Now, New Mutants has
can't wait
been
to see that.
has been pushed back 10 months.
That's
Wow.
I still don't know how I feel about that.
yeah.
Jumping from April 13th to February 22nd. Now, remember, Deadpool opened in February, and it did just fine. They say the reason for the change is for the studio to avoid having an overlap in X-Men movies in certain overseas markets
Would
where
that be
Mutants and
so
Deadpool 2
Yeah.
would be in the theaters at the same time. I don't see it as a problem because they're very different movies.
Right.
You know?
Well, and Deadpool's not an X-Men title. I realize where he originated, but Deadpool's about as X-Men as I am right now.
I'm excited for that New Mutants movie.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I feel about it yet.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm still marinating on it.
Well,
It's
like,
gonna be better than
what-
the Runaways.
when it was Sienkiewicz and Claremont, right?
Yep.
When they were doing that together, that comic was fucked up
yeah.
and scary
Well, it looks
and
like they're
weird.
doing the Demon Bear storyline.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's some good shit.
But then Gambit.
That movie is never going to be made, Monshari.
Which
Which
hurts
is a
my heart.
which is a prediction that I have made.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Gambit.
Remy LeBoo. That's Boo Thing. That's Boo Thing.
No, I got a soft spot for Gambit, man.
That's Boo Thing right there.
Like, like, Gambit's like the LL Cool J of the X-Men universe.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because he just holler at me like,
You saying Gambit did good work in toys?
Doing it and doing it.
yeah,
and
he's doing it,
well.
and he could charm me. Like for me, like I just kind of, I didn't like Cyclops because he was too good. Of
Well,
a
nobody
dude.
likes Cyclops.
I like Cyclops.
I didn't like
do
Wolverine.
not.
I do. He's my favorite X-Men.
Emma Frost likes Cyclops.
Right.
Emma Frost is an asshole.
But
I love Emma Frost.
And guess what? Emma Frost era Cyclops was an asshole too.
Yeah, oh, of course.
When I was 12,
absolutely.
Cyclops was my moral compass.
Are you
I
shitting
didn't like
me?
Wolverine because he was too aggressive. Beast was too much.
He was too
Wait,
aggressive.
you guys, Kerry hasn't even told us what's happening with the Gambit movie.
Sorry.
I'm so glad
Go back to Boo Thing. Go back to Boo Thing.
Kari's here.
Pardon, mon ami.
I'm sitting in Kerry's seat, so naturally I've taken on his.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Shell.
You haven't shamefully shooken your head yet.
The release date for Gambit has been changed a lot.
2069.
Going from February 14th, 2019 to June 7th, 2019 because Gore Verbinski has left the movie.
What?
Yeah, this is like their fourth director.
Third.
Is it their third? Yeah. Gore
Gore Verbinski.
Yui Bull is going to be the next one to pick that shitty
Yeah.
garbage pile up.
Hey, Gore Verbinski did amazing work on Mouse Hunt. and the first Pirates movie.
Here's how it went. He's the third because Rupert Wyatt and Doug Lyman have all left this project for one reason or another.
Why? What are the reasons? Do you
It's,
know?
it's because Gambit sucks.
Nobody's
Go ahead.
saying.
Man,
Nobody's
oh my
saying.
God.
It's because Channing Tatum.
Mona
wants it to be
me.
Take a drink.
musical.
maybe they ran out of playing cards. I don't know. Maybe that's how to do it. You
Look,
pick a card, any card. You pick the wrong card, you
Maybe
leave the
they
movie.
realized Gambit's a
That
shitty.
movie's not going to happen.
Maybe they realized Gambit's a shitty character.
No.
All I can say is
No, he's not a headliner.
three
But he's cool.
He's not Gladys Knight. He's a fucking pip.
three excellent directors have looked at this and said nah. So
That's the first time I've ever heard you use "nah" in a sentence.
nah.
Nah.
That's very good.
I use it as a sentence sometimes.
Yeah, just a fragment.
No, but I use it in a sentence.
Very
That's
good.
it. I just say to the Gambit people, just wait until Disney comes and takes it from you. Just,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wait
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let it happen.
No, I'm gonna use some Tenacious D terminology.
Okay.
Fuck this movie gently.
Let the dream die.
There's only
It's
one,
never gonna fucking happen.
There's only one thing that makes Gambit entertaining, and that's Rogue. So if you make
Yeah.
a Rogue and Gambit movie, then you have a story.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Or
that.
if you have a Storm movie where Gambit's a side character, then I get that.
Or a
But-
Rogue movie where Gambit's a side character.
Exactly. She's actually more interesting than he is. But he's a supporting character.
This
It would
is
be
true.
like making a movie about Dr. McCoy. He's entertaining. He's cool. But can he carry a fucking movie?
Yeah.
He's
I
really.
guarantee
That's
you
100% true.
You know what would be dope?
his down-home homilies are going to get old after a while.
I would love to see Hank McCoy like narrate like Planet Earth 3.
Oh man,
like
that would
you
be
be just
incredible.
replace David Attenborough and shit.
Yeah, but a lot of these characters, they're ensemble.
Fascinating.
They're characters from an ensemble cast. They're not headliners. Wolverine's a headliner. God knows why, but he's a headliner.
Yeah.
Deadpool, all these characters that broke out of our collective
Okay.
our collective psyche, they're leading characters. And
Jubilee headliner.
Jubilee could. Yeah.
No.
But it's like, you know,
I just wanted to
think
trigger
about
you for
how,
a second.
how enthralling would an Angel movie be, right? And he's cool.
He
could do
can
the-
fly.
Nope,
He's an
nope.
He's an ensemble
I don't wanna
character.
no, yeah, he's
Yeah.
not.
He's basically the star of the first X-Men movie. So.
But when you really
his
get
power is his power is his
So-
privilege, and then he also has wings.
when you really get into it, if you're going to do a fucking Gambit anything, go ahead and do a half-hour TV special. Do an anthology show that shows all the X-Men's origins, whatever. But
I'd
a
never
movie,
miss an
it's not
episode.
going to happen.
The only X-Men that exists to me are the psychic superpowers. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I was
Now-
like Jean Grey, Emma, and the
And
Stepford Cuckoos.
and
are
the Cuckoos,
only...
and the Stepford Cuckoos. That's a show I'd fucking watch.
Oh my god!
Or you get a Legion show, which was fantastic.
I want
but
them
it's
to
a
be
TV
serial
show.
killers.
good.
I want Stepford Cuckoos that are little serial killers.
We
I
don't
just
know
want
that
three
they're not.
sisters murdering people. No, they are.
There
They
were
definitely
5.
are. There were 5. Now there are 3.
What do you think of the ones on The Gifted right now?
I'm okay with it.
I fuck with
Are the
yeah.
Are
to
the-
watch the gift.
To
Are
be
the
honest, any
Stepfords on-
representation matters. It's like when you're starving in the desert and somebody wants to give you a little bit of water, you'll take whatever you can get, and it feels amazing. So
Are
I
there
don't have any
Stepfords?
criticisms right now.
Are there Stepfords?
Yeah,
on
and
it?
Gifted.
I gotta
Gift is
catch
dope.
up on
I-
that
No,
show.
Gift is
Yeah.
dope.
I
Here's
need
my
to-
here's my problem. Like Runaways started off great,
Yeah.
and then took a shit,
And it ran away. It ran
Hold
away.
the-
and then
wait.
and hold on,
Okay,
and then Gifted. I was really excited because I love me some X-Men's, right? But that whiny ass fucking white family is driving me nuts. I didn't want to see this fucking nuclear family wind their way through the X-Men
They're
universe.
not on it as much.
Good. I'll watch the show again.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: the part with Polaris and what's oh boy,
Sunspot or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
The one who would be Sunspot.
yeah, he would be Sunspot. Their dynamic is dope,
Okay.
and I'll tell you right now, like they have this little romantic scene, and I was like,
No, because
that shit is
they you know any show has its rough honeymoon period
because
unless
their
it's
powers.
unless it's not on network.
Just catch up on Gifted. Truly, like the sisterhood that's displayed in Gifted with the Cuckoos, it's pretty
Great.
good.
Great.
It's acceptable.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
It's
Great.
it's interesting.
It is.
Can I talk about Runaways?
Sure.
If you want, we're on the subject of Marvel's mutants. Sure. Because this is Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't
So,
seen it.
I've-
Okay.
Let's just say
I
they
got a
spent their
Hulu
whole
login for you,
budget on the
Kerry.
first episode.
I'm there.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Runaways. It's got Preacher TV disease.
Oh,
It does.
It
Can
does.
you explain that to me?
100%. Okay.
I actually
so,
didn't tune in for Preacher. I love the comic too much to do that to myself.
If Preacher, I'll sum it up
Alright,
really
so-
quick with Preacher. If Preacher had stuck to the first episode and the last episode, it would have faithfully encapsulated the comic.
I'm not a stickler for faithfully encapsulating a
Right,
comic, and I
right.
enjoyed it.
Oh,
So-
okay.
so
Okay.
here's the thing.
Well, neither am I, Carrie. I'm actually just like you. As long as I get what I want,
I-
it doesn't have to be exactly.
I quite enjoyed Preacher.
Carrie, like I'm with you, like
Yeah.
with Preacher, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I
There's
had to go away.
There's certain like religious level
Yeah.
comics that you can't do that to. I would be okay with it. I just haven't had time.
Runaways, the original Runaways series by Brian K. Vaughan, everything that he wrote with those characters, I love. Mm-hmm. Okay, not to the point that I love Preacher, but it's got the same problem. So, one, God, man, give him a little bit of money. But two, it was the same thing. You read Runaways,
Yeah.
okay?
It's obviously got a
I
bigger
also
budget
did.
than Iron Fist,
Right.
but maybe by $5.
So the problem with Runaways for me, they never ran away.
No.
Didn't they finally get to running away in the last
The
episode?
very last
I thought
episode.
I read that somewhere. Yeah.
The very the very last episode. So why do we have to have? So okay, we're gonna buy this property, and it's a show about some kids who found out that their parents are supervillains, and they get scared
And they run away.
and they fucking run away, and then they discover, oh my god, we've got superpowers or whatever. That's what Runaways is, right?
Yeah.
The TV show starts. They find out that their parents are supervillains, but they hang out. And not only that, the other thing that really bugged me about the show is that they humanized the parents. The scary supervillain parents, they made them vulnerable and relatable and blah, 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 right? And it took.
They over-explained everything.
The parents are supposed to be the whole impetus for leaving and staying the fuck away.
So they created this whole other new character, who is the scary one that they're running away from now. That the parents are also trapped by. So fine, I mean, whatever, dramatic choices. The other thing is one of the coolest thing about Runaways is Old Lace, the fucking raptor, right?
Oh, he's coming.
No, she's been there.
She's been there?
She's been in there.
Yeah.
But you see her like 5 times. And any opportunity they have to fucking knock her out or have her go away, she's
it's
gone.
because the effect is expensive.
Sure, I understand that. But, and Kerry, we kind of like went back and forth about it with Preacher. It's like, you don't need to set it up. You don't need to set it up because the first time I grabbed a Runaway comic or the first time I grabbed a Preacher comic, I started reading it, right? And I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And I'm not some sort of super genius. I mean, I'm an exceptional super genius. But I
Are
didn't
you
need
a stable genius?
Oh, no.
It's an unstable
I
genius.
didn't need all this extra setup to get to the actual fucking story, And that's my problem with. Now, I watched this one. I will say this: the casting,
Kids are great.
the casting is amazing.
Kids are great. I like seeing James Marsden.
I usually
and
hate
everything.
child actors too, and they're
they're
doing
all
okay.
good.
No, I
Yeah.
thought
And
they
the
were
only
good, too.
problem, and it's not a race thing, is Molly. No, I'll
Famous
say
last words.
no. It's. I wish Molly, right? That's the super strong one.
Yep, that's correct.
I wish she was younger. That's the only thing. I don't get, I wish she was younger because she's supposed to be like a 8-year-old kid
Yeah.
that can lift a fucking bus over her
And that's
head.
the joy of it. That's the
Yeah.
joy of it. A teenager doing that, you're like, well, I had
okay.
teenage
But
angst too.
that has more to do with casting laws. She can't.
Exactly.
She has to be over the age of 12
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to be in the show
Yeah.
that much.
But anyway, it's not terrible, but it's not great. I'm actually hopeful for the second season because now they're on the run, and I'm like, can they afford the giant frog spaceship thing?
God, I hope so.
No, there are
God,
times.
right?
God,
there,
I fucking hope
there are times
so.
when Old Lace runs by and you're like, oh, well, somebody just ran by with a raptor head on his head.
Oh, I know. It's
Yeah.
like, like
No,
it's silly.
it's sad because it really does. It just comes down to budget, and
But
you can tell a lot of times. I mean, for one thing, they did shoot it in L.A., which is expensive.
Yeah.
So how do you get away with shooting in L.A. but you don't have enough money for the
Come to
and
Utah,
the whole thing
baby.
the whole thing about
Give me that
Ayo.
Disney money.
well, there's a thing. Sky in L.A. is a brighter cerulean blue than sky here because of the atmosphere and the elevation.
and the smog.
And the smog. Well, smog's more here. But we talk about budget. I'm sorry, CW's outdoing your budget with Gorilla Grodd episodes on the
Yeah.
Flash.
wait, hold on. On Hulu itself, it's out. I absolutely love Future Man, and I actually
Future
started it
Man
over
is
again.
fucking
I started
great.
over again,
on my
and the
list.
budget on Future Man looks like
insane.
it's 3 times what they spend on Runaway.
You're getting season 2 of
Yep.
Future.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. That is happening.
Future Man, if you're not watching Future Man, it's a throwback and it's a satire of every geek movie you've ever seen.
That's cool. I'll have to give it a try. I haven't even touched
It's
it.
a lot of
I haven't
swear
either.
words.
It's dirty
You know
as
how
hell,
I'm
though.
sensitive.
It's
I'm
dirt- yeah.
sensitive about that.
Kerry,
Well, if you're
did you
watching
watch
it with your 17-year-old kid.
I haven't. No.
Okay, I'm just gonna warn you. Last 2 episodes, a lot of dick. There's a lot of dick in it.
no.
Yeah, so I'll
That
just warn you.
triggers Carrie.
That is Carrie's trigger.
Yeah. How do you feel about Dr. Manhattan, Carrie?
Well, I walked my way through it because I said it was CG.
You don't
That ain't
fuck.
a real dick.
You don't fuck with.
Life of Brian in the theater. It ruined my life.
You don't fuck with blue penis.
Fucking boner fight. You could boner
He's
fight
got some
destroyed
sensitive
him.
spots.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Well,
all right.
A lot of guys who grew up in the 70s have this issue.
Yeah.
It's dad dick syndrome.
Oh, because
And-
it was everywhere.
Well, because every time your dad would be like, well, we got to conserve on water, so you're taking a shower with
Yeah.
me, and every time
Yeah.
you
And
turn
your
around,
Yep.
dick height
Yep.
as a child.
Yep.
you got a
Yeah.
Yep.
face, you got
Yep.
a face full
Yep.
of dad dick.
Nah, I can respect a beautiful dick. I got no problem with that.
I
do-
got no respect for that.
You never know. You never know where you're going till you know where you've been.
We are talking.
Hey,
we
thanks,
are,
pops.
God, poor Carrie.
You know.
we are talking about a.
We're holding him. I want everyone to know that we're actually holding him hostage. Any messages you get from him, you should probably.
Carrie is
Act
tied
on
to
that.
a chair right now.
This water is delicious.
It's like, Kerry, when was the last time you saw something with the sexiness appeal of a quadruple amputee manatee?
Huh?
Oh, that's what the average penis looks like.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
manatee with no legs.
Oh my
and arms.
god!
Essentially, yes.
It's just,
I might like them now.
I always think they look like
they're
a.
endangered from
I
propellers.
always think they look like a scared and hungry baby bird.
I thought they always looked shy halud. The fucking dune worms. Come on,
yeah.
people.
Well, you could have just said sandworm, smarty
I'm
pants.
sorry.
I like to think of my penis as like a special exhibit at like the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah, we know. I got the brochure.
Thank you.
Oh, we got the brochure.
Please do not feed Jay's penis.
You subscribe to the newsletter?
We got
I
the
do.
newsletter. We got the QR code. We got
Yeah.
the whole thing.
I appreciate your support.
Anyway,
I got the one thing about when it jumped out and ate that kid. Though.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
my God.
that was
That
rough when the
was-
lady fell in his enclosure.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my god.
Well, it was kind of funny because there was the one time that a kid fell in the enclosure and Jay's penis was trying to rescue it, but they shot it.
Yeah.
I
Rest in
heard.
peace.
I heard there are activists who are trying to close the exhibit.
Yeah.
Y'all hiring?
He can't. He can't.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying.
Kiki is our quad T Tony with the.
I'm swiping right on that one.
I have a special gift for you for that. I gotta give you.
Present. Is she getting a present?
Oh,
I think you're the only
fucking
person to ever get a
Kiki.
present.
During an episode.
Oh, what is
The Lego
this?
Darth Vader alarm clock.
Oh, that's yours now.
Oh,
Yours.
My
For
God.
that.
She quad T Tony'd that
There you
so
go.
hard.
Let's
Oh
see.
my
Darth Vader
God.
alarm clock. You'll find your lack of sleep disturbing.
Well, I'm a Sith, so this works.
All right. Let's see. We're getting a. Well, I'm not going to say we're getting a Black Widow movie. I will report that a script is being put together.
Okay.
All right.
She's a side character, but that's okay.
Yeah, she's all
See,
right.
why do we get a Black Widow? Okay, and not a Gambit.
A what?
I'm like Black Widow, but not Gambit.
But hey, you know what would be a dope love story? Black Widow and Gambit.
No.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
They
I'm
could be
against it.
boring together.
Yeah.
But they'd have some dope sex.
No, I'd say
Yeah, it's true.
Black Widow and
I
like
watched that
Agent
porn.
13.
Now, see, I disagree about the Black Widow movie because we're getting one here in a little bit.
Natasha
Jennifer Lawrence
She's earned it though.
as Red Sparrow.
Oh.
Have you seen the trailers?
Yeah, I have.
Go watch it. Go watch that trailer, and you tell me
It's not a Black Widow movie.
it's a Black Widow movie.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like maybe a recycled script almost.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what happened was Marvel saw that trailer and went, "Oh fuck."
So,
You know?
well, I would have said that after Atomic Blonde too.
Oh, I loved Atomic
If you've
Blonde.
read,
Yeah, Atomic
if you've
Blonde
read,
was way good.
I can't remember who wrote it, but Phil Noto did the art in the Black Widow comic that had been out a couple years back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
And it was basically she got burned. It was burn notice with Black Widow,
Yeah.
but written better.
Yeah.
And I know, Gifted's written by the guy that did Burn Notice.
Get the fuck out of
That's
here.
his
How
show.
fuck's a burn
That's why
notice?
so many people from Burn Notice are on Gifted.
You know, Natasha Romanoff has a very good, lush, awesome, like 007 like
Yeah.
Yeah.
backstory.
Yeah, yeah,
She
no,
does.
her
She has a lush
backstory's
one,
good.
but the character herself is really. She's a wow, holy crap! She's a stormtrooper. Like she's a boring, pre-programmed
Her-
assassin.
Her story, I think, is better for television
I agree.
because, especially after,
Or Netflix.
well, Agent
Yeah.
Carter. Agent Carter just showed up on Hulu again, and watching the 2 seasons of Agent Carter and going, "Holy fuck, this was such a good show!" And especially after the abomination of Inhumans,
yeah.
you go back and go, "Okay, Agent Carter was fantastic."
She's
and
a
compelling.
perfect ingenue. You
And
can
you see-
project yourself onto her.
Oh, and you see
Great
the
TV show.
roots
I'm
of,
sorry,
the,
what
of the Black
what
Widow.
was that word?
Ingenue.
What's that mean?
It's the female character that's kind of a faceless. She lets you explore the world through her eyes.
How you spell it? I'm like, I'm inquisitive as fuck right now.
Ingenue.
Thank you.
Ingenue.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
She's right. A+.
Yeah, well
Very
done,
good.
everybody.
Yeah, that worked.
Adult spelling be at the library once a month.
I was-
Good for you.
do that.
I was not trying to like. I just genuinely wanted information.
No, I get shy. I like it when people praise my intellect.
Yeah.
I realize I'm a sucker for television doing these things, but like if you're gonna do a Winter Soldier on the Run story, I don't want that in a movie.
There's so
I
many
want that
good
on a
one
television
shots.
series,
There's good one
No,
shots.
I think that's
and not on Hulu.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me run through these 3 stories
I
real
wanna-
quick, and then we'll wrap it up.
I just want a Black Panther Captain America moment where like.
They kiss.
No. I
Gently.
mean, well,
In a Volkswagen.
I just want him to like teach like him to Dougie or some shit. Like,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
like and tie the do rag or something like.
I don't think Black Panther's the guy to teach that.
I don't think they do the Dougie in Wakanda.
I don't think he's the guy.
Get this man a do rag.
You put the do-rag on.
I think you might teach him like a chemical
You gotta
formula.
protect
or
your
Yeah.
hair in Wakanda.
I get
mean,
I get
them
the feeling
oils.
that T'Challa's kind of a square.
talk. Don't.
No, I seriously, from what I'm just talking about the movies. What they've portrayed to me, T'Challa is kind of a square.
He's a hard ass.
He does some.
He's a hard ass.
Yeah, but he's a square.
But I don't think he'd be teaching anybody the Dougie. I think he'd go, "What's that?" To Doug? I don't know what the Dougie is.
He's like,
I'll give you that.
he's like, what's his face? He's like, what's his face on the Good Place, but he has superpowers.
Yeah.
He may be a square, but he'll still
He's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
he's-
Yeah.
pop the
your
trunk.
shit up.
You put your ass.
Oh, absolutely.
Squarely kick your ass.
He may be a square, but he'll do that.
I get the feeling that he and Cap would get along because I don't think he wasted time with pop culture, and
Yeah.
especially in Wakanda. You know, he probably didn't get much.
And both of
Don't
them
get that spear in your ass.
probably
They probably
haven't
play
watched
Uno
more than
together.
Wizard
That's what
of
they
Oz.
could
That'd be
do.
dope.
Anyway, I'm probably wrong. We'll
Are
see.
you woke?
I'm
Are you woke, Steve Rogers?
woken.
I'm a wokes.
Let's see. Now this whole American God situation is just
I love this show.
Not anymore,
yeah.
Wait,
Well, because
what?
It's destroyed. It's
because
ruined.
Ryan Fuller and Michael Green left.
which means the heart of the show's gone.
Part of the
Gillian
show's
Anderson's
gone.
leaving.
Gillian Anderson said she's not going to do it.
Oh, shit.
And we're still up in the air as to whether Kristen Chenoweth is going to be back.
She doesn't know.
She
Wait,
doesn't know
What? Why is everyone leaving?
because the showrunners left.
Stars started fucking
Why
with
did the show start?
Stars started fucking with what they wanted from the second season
Yes.
with Brian Fuller. You do not tell the man behind Pushing Daisies,
Yeah.
Hannibal.
He'll walk away. He has done it like
I did it with Discovery.
Well, the Discovery, they weren't fucking with him, but he wanted to give more attention to American Gods. He said,
Yeah.
this is a show that needs all I've got. And so he walks away from Discovery. Now, Discovery's been pretty damn good, but I keep thinking about Brian Fuller Discovery.
I could just imagine. Well, that Television Critics Association thing was going on, and the CEO from Starz, this Chris Albrecht, was asked about American Gods. He said that Fuller and Green were not fired, nor did they quit.
Huh?
I smell some bullshit there.
What
Yeah,
they
so
what
do
they
I.
decomposed into gas?
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
they became one with the universe. Like what?
So
like,
this
Like Luke?
Skywalker
so
shit is
this
happening.
this suit goes on to say that they will be involved as much as they can be. It's a little bit up in the air what their exact role will be. Again, it's a suit. You don't trust suits.
Never trust a suit.
And then they ask about Neil Gaiman. He said that Gaiman will be working in more of a traditional showrunner role. Well, Gaiman heard about this and got on Twitter and said, no, that's not it. It's not the case.
He has no experience in television anyway.
He says, I'm show running Good Omens right now. I'm not going to run two shows at the same time. I'll work as close as I can with the new showrunner, like I did with Brian and Michael. But after I get done with this Good Omens TV thing, I'm going to be writing again. So that's not true. Again, you can't trust a suit. Never trust a suit.
never trust a suit.
I'm sorry.
This is heartbreaking.
You brought up Gaiman, and I need to bring up something that happened this week.
What's up? Speak on it.
So, Gaiman wrote the Sandman series.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is my favorite comic of all time
Okay,
ever.
so the original artist that I know, come on, the original artist that
I'm sorry,
drew
you forgot to put quotations around the word
artist
Yeah.
that drew Sandman lived in Salt Lake.
We
His
know.
name is
Any woman alive in the 1980s knew.
right, exactly. But no, so anyway, but beyond that,
you?
he was the original. The design of Death from the comic
Dee
book
Dee.
was inspired by a local woman named Cinnamon,
Yes.
this goth icon here in Salt Lake, and she passed away.
Yeah.
She passed away this week at 48 from cancer, and it's kind of sad. So I just think we should recognize that and maybe
I believe
Raise
there
a
is an
drink.
event for her.
Yes. Well, we
this
mentioned
one.
it last week.
Was it last? It happened last week.
Yeah, I think the events are over. But if you want to help, if you
there's a
contact,
GoFundMe.
it's not a GoFundMe. It's one of the other ones.
Yeah.
If you contact Ivy at Booze Teak, she will be able to direct you.
No, Cinnamon had a brutal type of cancer
Yeah.
that not only was incredibly expensive to treat, when it relapsed, things got even more expensive. And
Then real quickly here, Walking Dead, Scott Gimple is no longer the showrunner. He has been put in charge. He's like the Kevin Feige of the Walking Dead world. He will oversee not only the 2 TV shows, but games,
in the animated
products.
kid series.
Yeah, anything Walking Dead, he will oversee it. He's the Kevin Feige of Walking Dead.
Interesting.
They've got a new showrunner is Angela Kang. She has been with the show since 2011. She's written 20 of the episodes. She will take over as showrunner in season 9.
Is she going to figure out how not to kill Carl?
It's going to happen. I'm sorry. It's going to happen.
Fucking
They've
pissed
been
me off.
avoiding that for a
I
long
love
time.
the spin-off series that they're
Man,
doing
fuck
on
Carl.
I
Netflix.
like it better.
Fear the
No,
Walking
no.
Dead?
No, I'm talking.
I have not touched it.
I'm thinking of Breakfast at Herschel's Farm.
Oh
It's a nice.
no, I
Breakfast
like
at Tiffany's.
I like Fear the Walking Dead way more.
Really? I'll have to pick it up
You
then.
know the last episode of Walking Dead I watched?
Which one?
When they pulled the fucking dude out of the well on Herschel's Farm. And I said, if they don't fucking leave Herschel's Farm, and next week it was like, next week on
Herschel's Farm.
On Herschel's Farm with the dead. Like, fuck this noise.
I stopped watching right after Negan.
I'm
just
still.
couldn't get
I'm
into
still in. I still enjoy it.
I
I
just
need
never.
to go back.
I watched the first season. I was like, this is not for me.
The
Yeah.
first season is unlike the rest of the entire series, actually.
Yeah, and then John Wick.
Yes!
Talk about the Continental?
Yes.
Yeah. You know I called this 2 years ago?
You did?
I did.
Well, I
On
thought
this-
they'd at least do a movie.
On this very show, I called this show.
But John Wick, it's the Continental. It's going to be a TV series
Yes.
based in the John Wick universe.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Stars, so they're spending money on this instead of
The Continental,
American Gods.
The Continental is such a brilliant concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hotel for assassins
Is
where they
Ian
all
McShane
have.
going to be in it?
Doesn't say.
You know what I-
Literally my entire life, I've wanted John Wick, and I just didn't realize it because
Right.
every D&D game I ever played, I always played an assassin. My LARPing character for 12 years was a bard by day and an assassin by night. Like that's my favorite.
Triggered by getting your dog killed.
Getting my dog killed every time.
Now, they've got a script. Chris Collins is going to also write the script and serve as showrunner. He's worked on Sons of Anarchy, The Wire, Man in the High Castle.
He's really good.
The original film's creative team is on board for the TV
Those
offshoot.
stuntmen from The Matrix.
Yeah,
Stuntmen.
so the people who worked on the movies are going to help with the TV series. And in a bit of advice that Marvel could follow, Keanu Reeves is going to show up every now and then. He won't be the star, but he'll at least show up.
I am genuinely appreciative.
But how, Kerry? He's on the run now.
I know.
He's a persona non grata.
So there's two things about
Wait,
this.
wait,
that I-
wait,
two
what'd
things
you say?
about this that I like.
He's a persona non grata.
Can you
Have
spell
you not
that?
seen this?
I ordered that
part
at Cafe Rio one time.
Two things that I absolutely
Let me
love.
get two persona
One,
non gratas, please.
The Continental does not have to be set in current day.
No.
Continental can be set anytime.
Oh.
So they could do episodes in the 1890s. With
It's an
assassins trying to kill
anthology
each other.
series.
Exactly. The other thing I love is that John Wick 3, Doggy Daycare, has been greenlit.
Shut the fuck up.
I just fucking love
hate
it.
how you make up shit.
I mean, people are going to be like,
But it
oh,
sounds
hi,
so
John
plausible.
Wick, can I drop off this Shih Tzu? And he'll be like, I would take care of your Shih Tzu.
And then the Shih Tzu dies, and then the rest of the movie's a bloodbath.
No. The whole thing is that these terrorists show up and they're like, John Wick, we hate your doggy daycare. And he's going to be like, bada.
I like that his dog didn't die in part 2.
Right.
That fucking rad pit bull that totally reminded me of Tilly was just like walking with
Have you
him.
ever seen a Weimaraner dual wield like M16?
I have actually.
Doggy daycare. John Wick 3.
I got to tell you something that the kids at the school got in trouble for this week.
Were they playing John Wick?
No, they were throwing blueberries at each other in the lunchroom, and I was like, they're like Leigh.
Yeah.
I'm the least random person
It
on
was
this
a blueberry
show. I'll have you know.
koozie.
I'm consistent in my
What?
unpredictability.
Why'd you throw that?
Carrie,
It's a Wasatch beer blueberry.
Carrie, that's just
beer.
rude.
Carrie,
How
I'm just,
can you throw if your arms are tied to that chair?
I know, right?
I'm not mad.
Wrist.
Carrie,
Wrist thing.
Carrie,
Look at the wrist.
I
Carrie
don't know.
Jackson,
Slide of the
you're better
Shame
than that.
on you.
I know.
You're better than that.
All right, let's wrap this up before we do any recommendations or consternations or.
Well, I was saying to you earlier, why don't we say something that we're super excited for in 2018? A recommend.
All
Or
right.
should we save that for the next episode?
Nah, man, it's the first of the. It's like one of the first. It's the middle of the month, so let's do that shit. You know, people's rent is due on this episode.
After these messages?
It's the
Not really.
15th.
No,
It's the 15th.
We got to wrap it up. That's true. The rent is due.
The rent.
15th is when I get
No,
my
that's when you get paid. First
that's when I
and
get
the
my
fifth,
late fee.
Y'all hiring?
yeah.
So
I've
tell
got,
us.
I've got mine.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
so excited. It was announced this week. So they went back to the original numbering of Action Comics.
Yes.
And starting with Action Comics 1001,
Wow.
it is going to have a new creative team.
Oh, really?
And that new creative team, and I can't even stand it.
Bob Kane and Bill Finger
Nope.
back from the dead.
It is Brian Michael Bendis with art by Jim Leigh.
Wow.
And I am beside myself.
That's a 1-2 punch.
Right.
I'll
so,
look at that.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, anything Bendis writes.
Right. So I'm going to get that. And then the other title I've decided that I'm going to read this year is Snagglepuss.
I have the first issue, right?
Do you
over
really?
there. Yeah.
I'm going to steal it from you.
Yeah.
Snagglepuss, the pink mountain lion character from
Exit stage right.
Exit stage left. They have reimagined Snagglepuss as a closeted gay playwright in the 1950s who is being blackmailed.
He's Truman Capote?
Yeah, he's Truman Capote.
Okay.
And he's being blackmailed by the government to help them uncover communists. And if he doesn't help them, they're going to out him as gay. God damn!
Okay.
Snagglepuss.
I'm
the
on
art
board.
is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And those
It's
are my two things I'm
Brian
excited
Michael
about.
Bendis and Jim Lee. That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm excited for those.
Yeah, I got that issue right over there.
Okay.
Wow.
Anything you want to recommend? I know Kiki has some stuff.
Yeah, I'm beside myself about My Hero Academia. Like, all my close friends know that that's like my anime right now. Like, my friend just changed her ringtone.
And it's called Academia? Is that what it's called?
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Some lady keeps hassling me about watching it.
It's me! Please watch it. It's so good. And I was explaining to Kerry earlier. I mean, again, if you love superheroes, the whole just heroes in general, I really think this anime is amazing. It's about a boy in a superhero society, and everybody has quirks, which is their powers. You can either choose to just live a normal life with them, or you can go to school and be a pro hero. Which is on my shirt right now, he's the pro #1 hero. Deku, or Midoriya is his name, like, he doesn't have a quirk, and so he's quirkless, and all he wants to do is just be the world's greatest hero. So how does he end up getting a quirk? I will let you watch that on your own to find out how, but it's amazing, and I've cried multiple times just because of just this need. And I think tying this back to like 2018 kind of a thing about like that self-awakening, like with Heidi, like to know that this is what you want and to fight for that and to keep don't let no one like hold you down with it. It's just it's an amazing anime, and the 3rd season comes out this year in April, I believe, plus a video game on PS4.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I will be excited for that.
I'm excited because while we've seen a lot of adversity, some people would say we haven't, but while we've seen a lot of adversity recently, I've seen a group of people find their voice and realize that they can demand change and can demand progress in the world. So I'm excited because while I felt like perhaps we were sliding towards that Mad Max future, I see a lot of brave women standing up right now and demanding some attention and some change. And I think that's staggering. And while it's not necessarily impacting on the geek world, I think it's impacting on the global world, on the global scene, and it can make a huge difference in how we look at entertainment, how we look at everything. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I realize that that's maybe not quite as fun as a comic book or something else, but it's what it has me fired up. And I think it's because my daughter's she's 17, she's moving off into the world soon, and I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, kid, show me what you can do.
I'm so proud of her.
I think you guys might just be able to pull it off because my tired old ass can't do it.
Right.
I have actually a good follow-up for this, if you don't mind.
No.
Are you feeling good? So there's a She-Ra show coming out.
Yeah.
For DreamWorks. Yeah. It's DreamWorks and Netflix.
Series on Netflix, yeah.
And it's being run by one of my favorites. She did Lumberjanes, Noelle Stevenson.
Yes.
No shit.
And she also writes for the Runaways.
Yeah.
And that's coming out hopefully this year. And I'm really stoked. It's a huge girl power. She's part of the Valkyries. I don't know if you guys know about that female comic collective of women. That's like run by Kate Leth, and Noelle and Kate Leth are best friends, and Noelle's getting that deal and being able to run that show. I am so excited. I threw a party for myself.
Animation is an area that Netflix is not afraid to give a budget.
I know, and I'm really, and she has a great budget. And I know that she wouldn't lend hers. Like Noelle Stevenson has an incredible ethical mind. She would not lend herself to this if she didn't feel the project.
Lumberjanes is fantastic.
Lumberjanes is great.
If you've got teenage girls, or it doesn't matter if you've got teenage girls or not, but especially if you have teenage girls and you're trying to get into comics.
Or if there's a teenage girl inside of you, like there is in Leigh,
like
a
me.
tiny little sassy teenage girl.
She's Lin Min May.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where Lumberjanes is just fun. It's
Yeah,
great.
was that a Robotech reference?
Yes, it was.
Oh my God, that was
thank you for
a
getting
deep
it.
cut. You're welcome. Yeah, Lumberjanes and Rat Queens, I would highly recommend for any girls who want to get into comics. So
All right.
Oh, Rat Queens. I'm friends with what's her name? Teresa, Tessa.
I can't remember her full name.
Yeah, but she's
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa. No, amazing. Yes.
Yeah, she's
that they're-
amazing. She's
I just-
incredible.
Oh,
thought
I just
heard
got a message from Jimmy.
What did
What's
Jimmy
this?
say?
I was going to save it for the end, but
Oh, well,
Oh,
by all
save it.
means, save
Jay.
it for the end.
My recommendation just for this month and your 2018 is life is short. Don't be afraid to fuck it up. And I'm grateful for this podcast because this podcast continuously reminds me to improve myself, better myself, learn. I don't know what's going to happen with my career this year, but I made a pledge to myself to go back to school. I'm currently back in school.
Nice.
And, Leigh was talking about the GI Bill earlier in this episode, and I'm taking that time to use my own, GI Bill that I'm
Good.
Yeah, and use those benefits that are applicable to me so I can better
You
myself.
Fucking earned them, right?
Yes. and so like I wish I had more geek shit to recommend to you guys, but like honestly,
Play Overwatch.
yeah, that too. But honestly, I'm just gonna spend this year bettering myself. Last year I spent most of it trying to figure out and learning and understanding just who the fuck I am, and this year I'm just more so focusing on the person that I need to be. And so that's my recommendation.
Light a fire they can't put out.
well, Jimmy has texted.
I miss him.
And here's his message, and we'll end with this. Miss and love you all. P.S. Jay is missing 4 shots of vodka and a bottle of whiskey in front of him. He knows. He knows.
Oh, Jimmy. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Jimmy and I are the same person because we're never in the room at the same time.
Oh.
No.
Which means good things in your future.
I know.
Yeah.
Enjoy your junkets.
You're welcome.
Good Lord.
I'd be next door more.
I know. We'd be hanging out. I'm less liable to kill you. It's true.
Now, Jimmy met somebody a couple days ago, and a lot of people said, "Oh, Leigh's probably just dying with envy right now." I'm like, "No, Jimmy meeting Guillermo del Toro does not make me die at all. It
Yeah.
makes me so happy because there's one thing Jimmy loves more than just about anything. Jimmy has a lot of things that he loves. He loves film and film craft.
Yeah.
And an auteur like Guillermo del Toro sharing space with Jimmy, I think, was probably one of those highlights in
That's
his life.
awesome.
He talks about meeting Spielberg and meeting all these other guys. I guarantee you, somebody whose heart beats the pure red, passionate blood of cinema like Guillermo del Toro and Jimmy meeting
Yeah.
was probably a pretty amazing moment.
Oh, I'm jelly. That's cool.
I have to say about Jimmy. When I see these pictures of him with all these great celebrities that we all love, from Harrison Ford to
Oprah.
The Rock, just the who's who.
That asshole Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, but just the who's who, and then you see a picture of him and Kat.
Yep.
At the award show, and I don't know why I just love seeing that, and I love that Jimmy, as much fun as he gets to have in his career, he is having it with his best friend. And
For sure.
And like I genuinely appreciate that, and like I said on their little when they posted a picture of them at the Critics' Choice Awards, I was like, "You're a hell of a critic. You made a hell of a choice, and the two of you together is just an award for all of us." And I genuinely mean that because I love him. Anyways,
Mr. B?
This ham tastes weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was made in some sort of shithole.
Oh.